During this exercise, we will learn how to extract an ASCII XYZ file into a DAT file. In our case, we have a topographic survey that we went out there and collected, and this will supplement the aerial survey we extracted earlier. So we had some obscure areas that were picked up in the field, and we want to bring those in and merge those into our current DAT file. So we're going to use the extract ASCII XYZ file, XYZ tool, and we'll be focused on page 17 through 18 in our training guide. As you can see in the data set, we already have the aerial survey DGN, a DAT file that we created from graphics, and a TIN file that we created from that existing DAT file. Now we have two XYZ files that we're going to bring in and supplement to the DAT file. I'm going to go ahead and launch Power Civil and get back into my DGN file or my CAD file, which is located under Data Geosite DTM ASCII Data. Again, I'm going to access my digital terrain modeling tools, and this time I'm going to be working with the Extract XYZ tool. As in other extract tools, you provide us with a file and the output will be a DAT file. So in our case, we have some XYZ files. We're going to bring those in one at a time, and we're going to add them to the existing ground DAT file. I don't want to overwrite the file, so I hit cancel, and I want to set my file mode here to append. So I set the operation to append because I want to append to the end of the existing DAT file that I have. So now I'll select it and click OK. So you want to make sure that you're appending in this case. Next, I want to look at the contents of the file that are read into the dialog, and I want to notice that between each column, a point number, a northing, an easting, and an elevation, I have a space as well as some text. So the delimiter between the columns here is a space. You can set the delimiter to any of these. Other would be some other character that was used to delineate between the columns. Set it to space. We also have a comment delimiter. So if you did have some field comments, you could separate those out as well. I don't have one in this case. Next, you simply just highlight a row from in the contents of the file section. Any row would do, and you can see that we split that out across the bottom. So then I simply go through and I start assigning a value to a particular column from the available value types. So in the case of the point number, I can see that there is no field for point number in this case, so I'll leave it at none. In a DTM, there are no point numbers, so it's irrelevant. I'll go to the first column that means something, that's the northing, and I'll set that to, the X, in this case easting, so I'll set that to X. And then I'll go over to the Y value and set that to Y. And I have a next button. I can click to scroll over to the right. And the following last value would be the elevation or Z value. Now if I had field codes such as EP for edge of pavement, CL for center line of road or something like that, then I could set up some features, and I could go through and set up a code, what type of code it was, how to include it in the DTM, and add it to a list. And I can create a list of all my codes. I could save that list out and reuse it on future projects. The output format, I want to make sure that's set to ASCII as it was when I originally created the DAT file. So I set that to ASCII. And then at this point I'm ready to process. It will give me a warning. It tells me that I haven't assigned a point code such as that EP or CL, so I haven't assigned a feature. I don't have a feature setting, and that's okay because I don't have those. So all these points that are coming in will be spot shots. Click OK, and it will read the file and append to the end of the DAT file. I'm going to repeat this process for the second. So go File, select the second topographic survey file, click OK. It resets the columns. This time I'll highlight again another column. Again, my delimiter is space. And I can go through again and select X for the X column, Y for the Y column. Scroll to the right using the next button and set the last column to elevation. Click the process button. Click OK to the warning in this case, and it will add that to the end of the DAT file. So I've successfully appended those two supplemental survey files to the DAT file. And those were in these two areas here that were delineated as obscure areas.